Green Eggs and Ham on Netflix is way better than it ever needed to be. Warner Brothers Animation, you are really waking up and shaking ground, okay? I love you dudes right now. This has been a great decade of what you guys have been up to. I love it. I can't wait for more. But Green Eggs and Ham, you didn't have to be this good. No, you could have been like a Nick Jr. show, boring and simple, talk slow, easy for kids and all that. Dr. Seuss books were actually really innovative and strange and helped kids and adults, honestly, if you really pay attention to the books, think outside the box and all that. They were very clever. And this show is as clever. It really is. And it's so angsty. There will be spoilers. I cannot talk about how much I like this show without talking about the big spoilers. Wow. I have a lot of feelings for this show. It's so silly. I can't believe it. I'm talking about Dr. Seuss cartoon. But I am with such delight in my heart. Now, the colors of the show, the whole palette, pastel, Eastery, super light, not appealing to me at all. I do like the way that they, draw the towns and the cities to make them super warm and approachable. They're like Christmas cards. They're very, very nice. And so silly. They have that whole steampunky thing, where there are all kinds of twists and turns. The buildings are silly. It almost seems like you're riding around on a playground or amusement park, and people just take it in a normal way. Now, the citizens, I want to call them Whoville citizens, but this isn't Whoville. It's another, town and county of Dr. Seuss land, of his furry people. They're kind of like talking dogs, but they're not. But I do like how their fur is mentioned constantly, how it's treated, okay? Instead of shaving, they just brush it clean. They talk about, I'll get out of your fur, not out of your hair. They have that. It's simple. It's little jokes that really make it seem like they're in the world and not just like people talking, like people playing the characters, not just being the characters. It's neat. It's very likable. Now, what really gets my attention is that they made it smart. They make the characters smart and really three-dimensional, and that is cool. Let's talk about Sam. Major spoilers with Sam. When you see him in the trailers and we watch him in the first few episodes, he's SpongeBob. He's happy to be alive. Every day is a blessing. He's so jolly and wants to make friends with everybody. And then you get to know Sam, and you find out he is a liar. His optimism isn't fake, but he lies to himself about certain things so deeply every day. In casual conversation, he is lying to his friends and himself. It's sad. And honestly, if you watch certain SpongeBob episodes, I think SpongeBob was a Stepford Smiler himself. Yeah, Sam is so sad. He's also not totally innocent. You think he's like a kid annoying this old grumpy man, but he's actually, an adult himself. He just happens to be short and optimistic, though he's not without, his snarky moments, his well thought out plans. He pretends to be dumb so he can fool people and kind of get away with certain things. He's a very likable and interesting character. He's very, very well rounded. And who's even better rounded is Guy. And you think Guy is just Squidward, miserable at the world, bitter, hates everything. Guy is jaded, but he's more of a sad loner. He doesn't want to, mess with people and cause clouds to, scatter over everybody else. He kind of just wants to be left alone with his regret and disappointments. It's so weird how you can see him and totally relate to his depression. Wow. It's so sad. And he's kind of like, the cynical straight dude in a wacky, wacky world. Though he's also an inventor, so he's not, above the wackiness of his world, but he does get tired of it. And there is a lot of wackiness in the show. So much. But people ride and take it as normal because that's kind of how the actual reality is. It doesn't make sense to you, but you have to ride it anyway. That's amazing. Like, this duo, the voice acting for both of them and together is really, really good. And it's funny, not because they say, just silly, goofy things with lots of fart jokes. It's more that they just have this funny back and forth between each other that's just very clever and well done. Really, I think this could be, done on a play, kind of like the Peanuts, has been put into plays of where, yeah, they look adorable, but they're super depressed. It's great. It's so great. On a lighter note, we have the female characters of this show, this mother-daughter duo who happen to be, riding kind of parallel on Sam and Guy's journey. Sam and Guy's journey is all about how they're getting this wild giant chicken beast to this city on the other side of the world. I don't care about the Triggeraff. It's just an annoying little weirdo to me, though I do love putting him in the briefcase. Reminds me of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Love that movie. The sequel's terrible, but I love the movie. Anyway, back to mother-daughter duo. You have Michelle, and she's this overprotective bean-counting single mom, and she's adorably dull, alright? Her voice is so warm, it's like you're watching Mrs. Potts, and she's really good at calling out BS. I think she's a very likable character, okay? She too has her pros and cons, but she's very likable. I also like the vegan joke in this show. Sam loves green eggs and ham, and at first it's like, oh god, how long have you known about this horrible disease? And then it's like, no, you can be happy as a vegan. And then it takes on the whole central message of the book, where it's like, you gotta try it before you decide if you don't like it or not. And I think that's fair. They tease vegans while also taking in perspective that there are good options to it. All right, with the right seasonings, you really don't need meat to make everything tasty. And I thought that was nice. The show can be very classy when it wants to be. It was surprising how classy in certain parts. Amazing. Then you have her daughter, E.B., who, she basically makes her ride in a bubble wrap car. There are seatbelts on her head. She's very much like Connie from Steven Universe. She's a smart, sweet kid who isn't, giving you cavities with her niceness. But yeah, she calls out everyone else's BS and really just wants to have fun as a child. And yeah, while her mom is holding her close as close can be, on the other side of the room, there's a family dancing in the car, playing with fireworks, doing all kinds of wacky stuff. And does it feel like it, though? Like everyone's grass is greener? It does. And because this world is so silly, the fireworks are real and come in many different sizes. It's so funny. Yeah, but those two are very likable. I think if the show had lazier and more basic writers, they probably would have made Michelle and E.B. like Guy's divorced family, where E.B. was like, oh, Dad, I always believe in you, even if you're a failure. And they would have made Michelle kind of an unlikable shrew. And she is a shrew in the show, but it's not unprecedented, okay? Guy and Sam earn her distrust, and her logical adult brain can call it their BS. She always tries to give them a second chance because, they kind of come off as nice, decent people before shenanigans happen. It's strange, but very delightful. I'm always happy when the ladies come into the show. They're very sweet. Then you have our bad guys. Big spoilers, they're not actually bad guys, but they appear to be. And I really like their dynamic. Okay, there is, this older, gruffer McWinkle. He's a seasoned, I'm going to call him a bounty hunter. That's not actually what the bad guys are. They're actually apparently, agents for animals and such. But anyway, McWinkle is a seasoned bounty hunter, all right? He's gruff and he's placid. He's intimidating, but well calculating. He grumbles and he wears his cool little shades and a cowboy hat. Yeah, he's a respectable dude. Yeah, he's done the job. He's seen it all. He's having a particularly hard time with it, but he never loses his temper. Instead, he kind of just, is first turning gray as the job has seasoned him. Obama turned gray after just 8 years, and he's still a young man. So funny. And yeah, he's got this rookie with him, Glunts. And Glunts is absolutely as extra and wacky as her world is. But, kind of like Sam, she knows how to ride it. She knows how to work it. She's honorable, though. I really love how she respects McWinkle. The relationship isn't her looking for a daddy. It's not some sad hero worship. She just knows he's good at his job. She wants to be as good as him. And through the whole time, she is respecting him while also having her own little wackiness. But again, she matches the world. So it's not inappropriate. It's just her being a normal citizen. I mean, there are points where you think she's too dumb to live, but, she makes up for it later because she knows how silly the world is and she knows how to dive into it. I really love the part where, McWinkle, every time he finds out that Sam and Guy have escaped, another, just patch of his fur is gray. And some dude's like, are you okay, buddy? And once is like, hey, is it a crime to age now? Sir, the salt and blueberry look is very distinguished. Their dynamic is wonderful. I like it very, very much. The unlikable character is just the very flat Trump-like, rich dude that everyone seems to be working for. That's not an exaggeration. He's so rich he owns all companies, and it seems like it. He's very boring. I don't like him at all. His voice actor is just kind of going through the motions. Yeah, he does nothing for me. Really doesn't. Even when they try to give him an episode to give him a sympathetic background story to explain his reasonings, I mean, it's well written, but I still don't care. I don't. But there is this cute little trick to it where every time it seems like he's on the phone with the bad guys, he's actually on the phone with Sam. Like, that is very good, like, cutting and all of that. It's like, oh, you don't have to believe that just because it was there. Does it seem like, untrustworthy narrative? A little bit, but it keeps you on suspense, especially gives you the big shock when you find out that Sam's, like, been the real kidnapper or animal napper this whole time. Spooky. There are a lot of really well-written episodes. To be fair, there are a lot of episodes where I don't think are totally needed. There were 13 when I really think it could be maybe cut in half. They could skip certain adventures. They're all really good, but some I just feel like are overstretched so they can get references to their, like, 8-page book. It just seems like it's overly stretched. Like, they were trying to just, like, make this deadline, which doesn't seem necessary because a lot of shows I like on Netflix came out with only 8 episodes a season and they did fine. I think Green Eggs and Ham could have been fine if they had fewer episodes, but for what it is, what happens all together, it's really worth watching, especially, like, the last 3 episodes are amazing. And you're like, whew, in your seats, you're cheering in your seats. There's so many times during the whole show, you're like, oh, god damn it, Sam. And really, at the end, everybody just pulls out all their stops, and all their little quirks are actually useful in the big finale. It's like, oh, god, yeah, we earned this. Kind of like DuckTales. A lot like DuckTales. Yes, it is on the same par as DuckTales. It doesn't have all the, big character moments and all that, but for what it is, I do think it's as worthy. So I think people should watch Green Eggs and Ham. I think it will be watched mostly by, young children, very simply, and all that. But I think if you're an animation fan and you genuinely if you genuinely like good storytelling, I think it's worth seeing. If you like just their strange steampunky world and really clever jokes, and a lot of it is just really witty stuff that, you have to listen to the whole conversation to really appreciate. I think it's a very well done show. It's surprising, and I liked my surprise very, very much. So I recommend it. Green Eggs and Ham is a good show. And even though the cholesterol of it really worries me, it really makes me want to eat green eggs and ham. I wonder how you can make ham green without it being toxic. And I'll find out. So yeah, this is a great show. I totally recommend it. Have a nice day.